everyone, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name's Danielle. I'm an American expat living in Germany, and summer is finally upon us in Germany. Today we are going to be vicariously living holidays in Italy. So I've been to quite a few places in Italy. I wrote them all down, there's a lot. So the first place I ever was in Italy was Venice. That was my first ever impression. I've been to Verona, Cinque Terre, Rome, Assisi, Orbetello, Siena, Saturnia, Florence, Tuscany, lots of areas in Tuscany, and the Garda Lake. So quite a lot sort of up in the northern regions. I have not been to Sicily yet, but it's definitely on the list. So let's start with my very first impression of Italy. So my very first impression was back in 2008. It is when I had just graduated. We did a big trip with Johannes's family, and Johannes and I after that went to Venice, and we were only there for like a full day and that was it. And I can tell you my first impression, at least from a Venice perspective, was hot, busy. Venice is just a very touristy area, but I loved it. It was pretty much everything like you imagine as an American. Like it's like probably the most, I want to say thought of places, one of the most thought of places when it comes to Italy from an American's perspective. So I absolutely loved it. Especially though, as that being my first impression ever of Italy, I would definitely have to say tourist locations in Italy are just insane. On to some more laid back first impressions after, I believe, I'm trying to like think properly on this, but I'm pretty sure my second impression of Italy was when we were making our trip down to Rome. We ended up by accident just sort of spending a day camping in Assisi because we drove down with Johannes's parents because that's where they were going to be pilgriming. Pilgriming is where you walk and you have different destinations in certain places, and it's they go to a lot of like religious points, I guess you can say, and Assisi was the starting point, and that is the birthplace of St. Francis, and it's really just stunning place. The energy is unlike anything I've ever experienced. So I want to say that was my first non-super touristy experience. It was more, it felt more like a real experience, not to say that there wasn't tourists, but it's just a very, very, like you can tell the ground is very sacred there, and there is a monastery there, and it just felt like a true, real experience. We were actually only planning on sleeping there at the campground, but we ended up staying another night because I was just like, wow, this is really beautiful, and this feels like a very real experience. So before we continued our way down to Rome, which I was so excited to see, but sometimes I think like, sometimes like the true gems and the true treasures are in the places you least expect. And I have returned there. We even went there with Olivia when she was a baby, and I'd love to go back. There's something really special about it there. And I would have to say that for a lot of the Italian land that's more rural. My next trip was in Cinque Terre, and I would have to say that Italy's got some beautiful hikes. The landscape is very diverse. There's beautiful coastline. The villages, like everywhere you look, is just kind of picture perfect. Like, I don't know what it is. It's just it's like the colors and the sea and the way the villages are set up and the mountains and the vineyards. It's just beautiful. It's just a picture perfect environment. Okay, so now on to what I've noticed from Italian people. I would have to say the best word to describe them is just very passionate. I think that they talk loud. They are very touchy-feely people. They are very warm people, but also if you catch them having arguments with each other or even just on the telephone, they're really loud about it. So I know a lot of people probably want to hear about food. So the food is fabulous, but I would recommend this. If you're in a really touristy area, don't eat close to the touristy sites unless you're just really starving and you're looking for something cheap. But if you want like a proper experience, it's better to kind of look it up and go in more of the outskirts. And I would say as a vegan as well, Italy is great, probably one of the best when it comes to eating out. You can get like pasta arrabbiata super easily. It's always vegan. You can get pizza without cheese if you want to, and they never, you know, look at you like you're funny or anything. Sometimes they ask and they're just super like, oh, what can I make for you? You know, like they'll make anything custom. And I think Italian food is just super easy to make vegan most of the time. There's also like focaccia to get on the go, and they put like onions, like caramelized onions on top, and olives. And there's lots of antipastis that you can bring on the go. Italy is a really great travel destination for vegans, I would have to say. A lot of fresh produce as well. The food is amazing. It's everything that you would imagine. I will say this about food as well. When we were in the Cinque Terre, we stayed at a campground, and if you happen to get hold of proper wine grapes, like grapes that are made for wine production, they were hanging at our campsite. So good, so different than the regular grapes you get from the supermarket. They're like those really antioxidant rich ones, and they have all the antioxidants that are beneficial in wine. I don't understand why we don't just sell those. Maybe they're too fragile for travel, I don't know, but they're so good and so healthy for you, and sometimes you can just pick them. Amazing. Next is about swimming in the sea, and a very important word I would recommend you know is Medusa. Medusa means jellyfish in Italian, and that was probably my first Italian word because there's a lot of jellyfish. I just really like the word for jellyfish as well, and that's where I got my first jellyfish sting, was actually in the Cinque Terre. We were swimming close to the harbor, and we saw that there were jellyfish there, but there were a lot of other people swimming, and the Italians, like, they just have this way. Even when we would go on holidays in France, you would hear the Italians screaming, Medusa! Medusa! Like they're warning everybody, watch out, there is jellyfish. And there's certain times where they come into the sea more often than others. I think it's when the water's really quiet. They're a lot more close to the shoreline. So a good vocabulary word to know in Italy is Medusa, because everybody likes to give each other fair warning about jellyfish. Italians love kids. They love babies. They love kids. In the restaurants, they will just, like, you know, practically bow to the feet of your kids to make them happy. They will come up and they'll want to pinch their cheeks. We actually had one lady at a campground that we were staying at just like completely freak out about Olivia. And also in Assisi, there was this lady who was like following us for quite a long time, and she just kept going, and she kept saying, Bella, Bella. It was so cute. So Italians absolutely love kids, and they see them all as little blessings. It's a beautiful sight. It's great going places with your kids where you feel like people appreciate their presence and don't mind their temper tantrums. Okay, so I don't really have any personal experience with this, but we are always just aware of the fact, because we hear that it could be more dangerous and cars get stolen there quite a bit more than, you know, in Germany, I guess. So we just make sure to park where you usually pay and where it's safe, and you know, it's just definitely something to be aware of, because there is just a higher crime rate in certain areas in Italy. So far I haven't had any negative experience, luckily. The last thing I will say about my first impressions on Italy, you know, be it Venice or Assisi or Rome or whatever, it is like a true holiday experience. Whenever we cross this little tunnel that usually is the route we take to get to Italy, the sun always starts to shine, and it's like immediate. Like we literally always, it's actually quite hilarious because it's usually quite overcast, like, and then we go through that little tunnel, and then on the other side is like sunshine. It's weird, but it's just how it is. Like, it's just part of the true holiday experience. You get sun, amazing food, nice weather, warm, loving people, interesting culture. Italy absolutely has it all. I'm so grateful that I have been able to spend so much time there, and I can't wait to go back, hopefully in the near future. So if you guys like this video and want more, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I'm going to go enjoy this wonderful hot day today, and I will see you guys next time. Bye! Get on up, let's go. We've
Got some money and gas in the car, so let's hit the road. Can't you see we're moving slow? It's dangerous.